Hi everyone, my name is Xinru and today I'm going to talk to you about accommodations. So in this video we will talk through why people might want to ask for accommodations, what are situations in which accommodations might be needed, what accommodations could look like for these situations, how to ask for these accommodations, and finally other tips to help you get the accommodations you need. But before we head out, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Decrypted by Us. We make lots of fun videos on things that people tend to not talk about in computer science, and specifically being underrepresented in computer science. Just as a trigger warning, this video will touch on a bit on sensitive topics around mental illness, traumatic events, so if you're not in the right headspace to watch this video right now, remember to save this video and come back to it later. And let's get started! So number one, why should you ask for accommodations? There's often this stigma around asking for accommodations that we need to first talk about. So very often accommodations are needed when you know you can succeed in a class, but something outside of the content of the class is affecting your ability to succeed. Everyone learns differently and have different situations affecting the way that they learn, and getting accommodations is a way to slightly even the playing field so that education is more accessible to everyone. One thing to keep in mind is that you should never feel bad for asking for accommodations or needing accommodations, and that whatever you need to do is completely valid and that you're doing really great. So now let's talk about what situations might people want to ask for accommodations for. Accommodations can come in two major categories. Some of them are consistent accommodations due to physical and mental blocks. Another might be more one-time special circumstances. So on the consistent accommodation side, it might be something that is affecting your physical health, a learning disability, or like something that affects the situation in which you're living in. Meanwhile, for special accommodations, they can be one-off events such as things going on, religion, access, especially special events like if you're in musical theater, like if you have tech week, you can't really get anything done, or just other special occasions in which your mental health or physical health might be affected. And it is also totally okay to ask for accommodations because of things going on or a feeling of being overwhelmed. And next, we should talk about what accommodations might look like. I'm going to first talk about what it might look like in terms of school, and then I will touch a little bit on what accommodations might look like once you're trying to recruit for companies and in the workforce. On the school side, you can potentially get accommodations like testing accommodations such as extended time in exams or being able to test in a quiet space. If you are in a project-based class that doesn't really have tests, you can also try to get accommodations for extended time on the projects and seeing if you can get extra help with TAs or being able to meet with a professor in some way. It also doesn't have to be always extended time or something that seems like a lot. It can just be smaller things such as asking professor to slightly change the way they teach. For example, if you have issues seeing color, you can potentially ask your professor to change the colors in their slides so it's a color that is accessible to you. And it really does not have to be big things. For example, you can also ask if it's possible for you to not get called on during the impromptu group meetings or have participation be made up for you by some other way. And finally, you can also try to get more structural accommodations from the school, such as getting an academic coach or getting access to software that might be able to help you. On the recruiting side, you should be able to see if you can get extended time for hacker ranks or be able to push back deadlines for just projects that's testing your ability in some way, especially if you're facing special circumstances or if you have special accommodations that you need. So now let's talk about asking the accommodation. Personally, this is the thing that I am the most awkward about. And so first of all, as a step one, if you can, try to get official documentation such as a dean's note, a doctor's note, or something of that nature. Not all professors would require this, but this is a good thing to have too, so you have more systemic support for what you need. Sometimes it does feel scary having to go talk to a dean or someone that feels like higher up administration level of your school, but they're all there to support you. And in my experience, they've all been extremely nice and understanding. A good reason to do this is, especially if you don't feel comfortable disclosing again and again, dean's notes are really good ways for a dean to just send out a message to your professors, and then you can disclose as little or as much as you want. Especially for professors, sometimes if they have a syllabus, they might also write out specifically what they need from you to ask for accommodations, and that's another good place to go to read to see what else you need to collect to ask for the accommodations. In the workforce, you can also reach out to your recruiter or your supervisor, someone in HR, to ask for accommodations as well. So now that you have the documentation you need, all it takes is something like a short email. I can put some templates in the comments below, or asking for a short meeting with your professor depending on whatever you are comfortable with. Here it's a good practice to include the official documentation if you have any, and listing out the specific accommodations you need so that your professors don't forget. And this is how you ask for accommodations. Other general tips are come to your meeting or your message or anything knowing exactly what you want, especially if professors and recruiters are really busy. They might not be able to know exactly how to help you. You should come with like the number of days that would be most helpful for you to get an extension, or specific ways that the professor can do to help you with your needs. Of course, it's sometimes really hard to figure out what you need or what you want, so student accessibility services, student deans, other students in similar situations, and asking professors what other students in your situation has done in the past are all really good ways to start as well. It can feel super intimidating at first, but building a network of resources and relationships really does help. Our society does kind of stigmatize asking for what you need, especially if you are from an underrepresented group, but whatever you need to do to make sure that you succeed is extremely valid, and good luck with whatever you're going through, and you are doing really great! Again, this is not a comprehensive list. Asking for accommodations can be very different for different people. And so if you have any other advice that I didn't touch on in this video, or any other situations that you would like to share, please comment below. We would love to be able to make this video an accessible place for people to share experiences and advice. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment down below if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.